insight. Please stay with us as we come back to you for our next discussion as well. Now we move on. The White House has said that a little progress was made this week in Iran nuclear talks in Geneva, but significant differences still remain. Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt has noted that Tehran is expected to provide more details in the coming weeks. She has also emphasized that while there are arguments for military action, diplomacy remains the administration's first choice. Let's listen into her comments.
I think you heard from the administration and the State Department yesterday that there was a little bit of progress made, but we're still very far apart on some issues. I believe the Iranians are expected to come back to us with some more detail in the next couple of weeks, and so the president will continue to watch how this plays. The president has always been very clear, though, with respect to Iran or any country around the world, diplomacy is always his first option, and Iran would be very wise to make a deal with President Trump and with this administration.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Donald Trump has taken to his Truth Social to raise concerns over a 100-year lease involving Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. Trump has specifically criticized UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, suggesting that losing control of the island could limit strategic options against Iran and other potential threats. Moreover, the U.S. president has stressed that the United States remains ready to defend its allies, including the United Kingdom, in such scenarios. Additionally, latest reports indicate that the United States could be moving closer to military action against Iran. Any operation is expected to be a massive, weeks-long campaign rather than a limited strike, with advisors estimating a 90% chance of kinetic action in the near future. Sources also suggest that such an operation could be conducted jointly with Israel, with the potential to directly threaten Iran's leadership. Now for this, we welcome back Dr. Punsara Amarasinghe. He joins us live from Colombo. Thank you very much, Dr. Amarasinghe, for staying with us. Now, looking at this situation as the tensions intensify, how do you analyze the Armada building and the strong language used by Iranian leaders for the situation versus the spokesperson's, Karoline Leavitt's statements on the diplomacy itself right now?
Right. I think when it comes to Armada building, that simply comes as a part of the U.S. strategy of deterrence. Washington tries to deter Tehran by Armada building, as Americans have deployed their two large aircraft carriers next to Iran in the Strait of Hormuz, the USS Gerald Ford and USS Abraham Lincoln. So that message is quite clear, that we would use our force if you are not comply with our demands. But having said that, when you look at the larger picture of the standoff between Washington and Tehran, what comes to the fore is the fact that there are two things that we need to clarify. Firstly, Iran is yet to come up with a comprehensive peace proposal. They have not completely undergone the demands coming from Washington. And secondly, there is a reluctance, a kind of a shaky ground between Tehran and Washington over the issue of nuclear weapons, while Americans are demanding Iranians to completely get rid of their nuclear arsenals and plutonium facilities. Iran simply comes up with a suggestion stating that these facilities are being allocated for peaceful purposes. So there is a gray line between those two powers. But having said that, at the same time, we need to understand, as you clearly stated, Iran needs to come up with a proposal, because the standout is likely to turn into a full-scale war if Tehran is not going to smoothen its very grim positions. But also having, when I look at the latter point of your statement on Chagos Island, the Diego Garcia, that is also another issue which simply unveils the vulnerability of the relationship between Washington, D.C. and its traditional European allies. As we know, Diego Garcia has been under British authority for more than 100 years. In 1960, when Mauritius was granted freedom, Diego Garcia was kept as a British naval base, and as a result of the East of the Suez crisis, the Britain handed over this naval base to Americans. So Americans have been using this Diego Garcia through and through as a strategically point, highly important point for its naval forces in the Indian Ocean. But
Dr.
now-
Amara Singh, unfortunately, we're running out of time for this discussion, but thank you very much for joining us today and sharing that insight with us.